Prospero's Journey. Dear reader, today we will read a story about a duke, Prospero of Milan. His brother he did rebuke. Antonio, his brother, had stole his throne. This caused greater anger as Prospero felt outshone. His anger grew to sizes unknown, knowing he had become overthrown. Betrayal caused by your own blood would feel as a million bee stings, especially considering the madness this family brings. Prospero had a master plan, one that would rival any revenge plot before. He planned to use his powers to conjure a storm so great their bodies would wash up on shore. As he plotted to regain dukedom, he began to grow tired. Therefore he planned to sleep and dream dreams of the plot he conspired. His brother was about to lose his newly acquired dukedom he for so long admired. No matter what happened to his brother, Prospero was joyous to regain his status he so longingly desired. He resented his brother for stealing his crown, and nothing would stop him from taking it back, even if it meant Antonio would drown. As he slept, his dreams began to change. He dreamed of a beautiful woman that seemed a bit strange. She was angelic, with hair as soft as silk, and lips the color of a cherry. Unlike any woman he'd seen before, he believed she was a fairy. Prospero began to realize that he was no longer dreaming. He in fact was awake, and this being was alive and breathing. Before he could conjure a word or even speak, the fairy answered all the questions he yearned to seek. My name is Kronos. I am a fairy of time. I belong to the island and seek the attention of individuals out to commit a crime. I was summoned to warn you about the repercussions of your anger and pain, and to let you know that it will not help you seek the crown you wish to attain. I'm about to step into your mind and take you on a journey of space and time. We will visit 3 historical events that in the future will take place when power was misused, and if you do the same, consequences you will face. First, we travel to an event that ended in 1996, the residential school system, a prison for indigenous children made from stone and brick. I now want to show you what's happening with the First Nations, how Canada is erasing their culture's foundations. They seek power over the land, so they have no limitations, and because of this, families will be affected for generations. Children are taken from their families and dressed in uniform as they want to make them feel less human so that they will conform. Their hair is cut short and they are abused, but this was all kept a secret, therefore their behavior was excused. You were mad that your brother took over as duke, but please explain why you think this brotherly brawl worth all the suffering and pain. You have seen what power can do to people as they believe that respect is what they will gain, but instead it diminishes, brings chaos, and drives people insane. I brought you here to show you that power gets in the way, it ruins relationships, and make the things we value fade away. Family, friends, and beliefs are what we hold so near, but with power they are replaced with envy, lust, and fear. Now we turn our attention to 1973, when a certain dictator refused to set his people free. Through 1973 to 1990, Chile was a divided country in its darkest times. The split between governments, controversial politics, and the loss of unity were all the negative signs. There was a permanent feeling where someone you knew might not make it through to the next day. It was terrible. It was even worse than terrible. It was horrifying, gruesome, frightful, and evil in the most absolute way. It was a life of darkness and flames. 17 years of culture put to shame. All pinpoints down one man to blame, Augusto Pinochet. A country where it made you feel afraid to stand out or speak your mind, ultimately leaving Chileans taken, killed, or fined. Being placed in concentration camps, not knowing if you were to survive, shows you, Prospero, the power Pinochet had to keep alive. If you were out past curfew, stuck at a fright, being afraid of the drunk soldiers running the streets at night. If you criticized the government, had such a brave soul, you must be praying so deeply that your family as a whole. Sure, there was less crime, and the cops had a higher reputation, but this was not the answer to fix a society into a superior nation. If only the thousands of innocent victims could speak to you their stories, tell you the ways Prospero to not use your power in all your glory. Listen to their truth and what they had to say, question the power that was used to inflict harm on that day, pinpoint who began all this commotion. However, they're either 6 feet under or in the bottom of the Pacific Ocean. Human rights violations in Chile were the crimes against humanity, political repression committed by Carabineros de Chile, which created insanity. Gruesome acts of physical abuse as well as psychological damages were made, resulting in Pinochet's power constantly making Chileans afraid. While the systematic human rights violations conducted by the military dictatorship of Chile under General Augusto Pinochet were formed, many suffered, all due to opposing beliefs, resulting to death, disappearance, and the unknowing knowledge of ever being reunited with your families were torn.
Ganamos la batalla, salimos mentalmente sanos. Era la única rebeldía que podíamos tener. Yo puedo dormir ahora, ellos no. Los que nos torturaron no pueden dormir.
We won the battle. We came out mentally strong. It was the only rebellion we could have. I can sleep now. They can't. Those who tortured us cannot sleep. Showing you, Prospero, the way power can begin to creep. 17 years of culture put to shame. All pinpoints down one man to blame. Augusto Pinochet. Oh, Prospero, you still haven't witnessed racial discrimination. You know the people that are trusted to keep individuals safe? Well, they have given themselves a bad reputation. They will go against the safety of their citizens, becoming forceful and aggressive. They use their power to strip away various human rights, creating a system that's oppressive. The uniform and title are used as an excuse to do these terrible things. Their deep-rooted feelings make it so they don't care about what suffering or pain this injustice brings. This has caused citizens to automatically think the worst when they are being pulled over or in any position where there is a cop. Imagine worrying when you see an officer that your life as you know it could just stop. People have suffered and mourned, but with protests and community support, their fight is ongoing. However, will this be enough with no help from their government? There is just no way of knowing. You have seen what your power has done so far. Your brother and the man who you hold so highly are suffering, yet you believe your actions are justified, which is just bizarre. No one deserves to be treated so poorly, and I know that deep down you know this too. The conflict you have caused through your magic is no different from what is happening today, and I hope you can see power in a different point of view. I chose to bring you upon this issue, hoping you would gain knowledge that power brings fear and pain. It destroys how people view you, destroys you as a person, and destroys those close to you. It eats you alive, till you are alone and lost, which no one can sustain. Now I have shown you how power can ruin lives. You will decide whether your brother lives or dies. I advise you, good or evil, by morning to pick a side. As fate is in your hands, the type of power you wield is for you to decide. You've seen how power destroys the best and worst of us. I know you hate your brother, but please do not fuss. Take my words as caution. These stories will all come true. If you do not listen, these fates will fall upon you.